everyone, I'm Isabella Nichols, your host for today's episode of Surfing Australia TV presented by Woolworths, Feeding Fresh Talent. As part of today's show, I'm going to take you through some of my training in preparation for the upcoming World Tour events here in Australia. We check out the Inaugural Usher Cup at Snapper Rocks. Kirra pumps as Cyclone Lucas turns it on. Takesh at Surflow prepares my body for competition. And I catch up with former 4-time surfing world champion Wendy Botha. First up on the show, I catch up with my surf coach, Mark Richardson.
Yeah, here today we're doing a little heat drill, just trying to simulate what some of the things that she's going to deal with when she surfs against the best girls in the world on the CT. She's out there by herself and there's not many people around, so we're really trying to get her on the best waves and, you know, in the time limit to be able to do her best surfing.
I've been working with Richo for about 3 years now, and Richo is known for his heat strategies. He's very tenacious and he knows exactly how to get under people's skin, so I've been trying to learn off him in that aspect and really work on my heat strategies. Richo always devises these really cool training environments where it's either like I'll go out for 3 waves and I can't fall on any, and then maybe 2, and then I have to peak with 1 wave that's just finishing with a bang. And he always makes them hard in a way where I feel that pressure and I have to kind of bring myself out of my own head, and just like a normal contest feeling. And it's kind of just putting me in the limelight of how I would feel surfing in actual heat. And the more I'm put in that situation, the better I become at handling those stresses.
When I know someone's in position really well is we're standing on the beach and we're not even worried that you're not. And then when a good wave comes into that area, we basically look up and go, right, where is she? And there you are. When you're doing that, that's money. That's so good. We know she's getting scores in the CT. We sort of got that information out of the Maui event, which was really positive, and she was able to get a 9. So we know the judges like her surfing, and what we've got to do is get her to be in position and catch the right waves and do it all at the right time. And you know, if we fuel that with some confidence, so we make her confident in her ability to be able to do these things, I think that's when you're going to see the best surfing from Isabella.
I have a lot of really amazing people in my corner. Richo is a legend. I also have my secret weapon, his name is Takesh. I do surf flow with him and I roll out, make my body feel really mobilized, and he's just amazing at what he does too. Takesh has come up with his own style of training. I think it's heavily influenced through capoeira and a lot of different body movement techniques, and he's kind of devised his own structure, and no one else does this kind of thing, so I feel like it's really unique. I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now. I started off mostly doing mat work, and then we progressed into body flow movement. Once Takesh got the idea of how my body worked, it was almost like dancing. You kind of have to trust the other person to catch you, and he's never dropped me before. But it's kind of like a dance, and you got to find the open space, and you got to be creative with it. You got to have a bit of flow like you have to have on a wave, obviously. So I feel like that kind of aspect of it, which is only one small part of it, has been the most beneficial for me, because I have to like think quick on my feet, but also not pre-plan anything, which is exactly like surfing.
My biggest goal is longevity through her awareness in her body, her mind, and everything else that can be correlated to how we're breathing or how we're moving, or really just having a balance of different elements. More of the creative mind of finding different unique lines and seeing different patterns that could be created into her surfing or into her life to make it more fulfilled.
Like I used to be very structured in how I approached a wave and surfing, and now he's trying to crack me and trying to make me more adaptable and creative, and I feel like I definitely am getting there. And it's like there's little things in my surfing too, like technical wise that we've been working on, like getting lower is a big one. And then obviously like through my calves, I feel like I kind of bunch up a little bit, so if working on shoulder work by opening up more, doing more like flow movements like this, and just being more open through the heart and the chest and more whole. Next up, we go behind the scenes at one of my favourite events to watch, the Nudie Australian Board Riders Battle. We follow Jan Juc Board Riders Club as they go through their state rounds to try and qualify for the national event.
Getting psyched up, head over the island for the day, the board riders battle. That should be a good day.
Yeah, Juc board riders.
Yeah, Juc board riders. Team's looking strong. Yep. So everyone was in bed nice and early, I think.
We'd all kind of lived out of town for a little bit. We all came back and we sort of wanted to start a social event and have a club, and one thing rolled to another, and now we've got 100 members and been going for 4 or 5 years, when I think most crew didn't think we'd be organised enough to run it, but that sort of started. We just wanted to hang out and all go surfing together and get a community atmosphere going, so Juc was born out of that, I guess. This is our first bussy, so we lucked out thanks to the guys at Budget in Geelong. We were stoked. We put out the list, 25 crew, hoping to get 2 or 3 crew come with the team, and there was a wait list in the end and everyone was so stoked, so it should be a fun day, and have a day together and have a first club trip. We'll go Finny, you first, then Timmy, you're the power surfer, you're second, then India third, Remy, that'll come you in at 4th, Paulo 5th, and then Timmy, you're back out there for that 6th wave again. If we're all balancing around a 5, we're going to be at that 30-point mark, which is what, when I look back at all the old heat results, that wins heats, and that's all you need.
We're here to kick some ass, mate. Good hoots.
Hard to find them, like, yeah, it's junky, the rip's pulling you out, but I like you, got this double up one.
It was a sick one.
Yeah, it was fun.
That last semi-final taking the win in the white was Jan Juc. In second was Peninsula.
Everyone's done their job so far. It's a matter of just maintaining and not getting carried away, with being overconfident. Every heat's a new heat. You've got to get the job done every heat, not just one.
After the break, I hit the gym with my coach, Joe Parsonage. At the end of last year, I competed in my first proper CT event in Maui, where I had an absolute amazing time. Now I have an 8-week block where I have to get my body feeling right before the next Australian leg.
Single leg squat into split leg, landmine. Thought I'd just ease you back in after quarantine. So specifically with Bella right now, we're just working on that strength, getting that strength base back. So that'll help get us through the next, obviously now there's 4 events in Australia. So we got that base, and then we'll work on, in the lead up to that first comp in Newey, we'll just really focus on that, that power development. And then on the road, she'll still be training. So keeping her fit on the road as well. Slow out, 2 seconds out, drive in, 2 out. I'd rather you just get on some mobility on the weekend and give you some extra stuff. And then we'll train Monday, Wednesday, Thursday next week before you head on the road. So, good to go.
A few weeks ago, Cyclone Lucas hit the east coast of Australia. While I jetted down the coast, there was an amazing session going down in Kirra. Check it out.
Give it up.
Welcome back to Surfing Australia TV, presented by me, Isabella Nichols. Next up, we take a look at a really cool new board riders teams concept called the Usher Cup.
It's amazing what's actually occurred, and from a small little vision with me and Rab sitting there one day having a bit of a moan about COVID and complaining about none of the board riders being able to have their club rounds, and we really wanted to just put something together. And our Usher Love vehicle, which is Usher Group's charity vehicle, we were really looking for a flagship event or a flagship initiative, really bring the essence of what Usher Love and what the Usher Group does for the Gold Coast with its community initiatives, and this is the fruits of it today. It's just so super stoked that the Goldie has just turned it on, the waves are pumping, it's gone westerly, and mate, I'm just frothing so hard. Bring it on, go the Usher Cup, yes.
We really wanted to kind of bring back, that club spirit, a reunion of the clubs, a hybrid event where we have a great individual component, we have a charity component, a community component, and really we've really brought all that together, and that is the Usher Cup.
Yeah, well, being the first one, I'm sure all these clubs want to win it so bad because they're all so competitive. Every single club, my club Snapper Rock's been one of them, but there's also individuals that can win big prize money. So, they just don't want to win money for their selves, but they want to win points for their club.
It's really the clash of the titans. It's a tough draw because every single club's got 3 very, very good surfers. And then there's a bunch of wildcards. We just wanted the best surfers in the event.
Be able to put the jersey on feels amazing, and it's a really good warm-up for the qualifying series that are coming up, so I'm pretty excited.
What Usher's done for the clubs here, put on a platform. Most of us haven't been competing for so long, so it'd be good for all of us to get back into it and do this every year.
Oh yeah, it's unreal that Usher Group's got behind this contest. It's always so good to surf for your club, and then a bit of an individual aspect as well. So yeah, it's a really cool contest, and I think everyone's pretty stoked to be a part of it.
Pretty damn good money in it. I know a few of the lads are frothing and the girls are frothing to have a shot at 5K. It's a great little prize money pool.
There's 3 of us coaching here, me, Adam Dufter and Tim McDonald, and we're just doing a post-video analysis and just giving everyone information they can use to improve. The concept of the event, hiring the coaches to be here, is the first time I've ever had that. So normally it's up to the athletes or a company to do that. So it's a really cool concept to have it athlete based, and that we're here just for anyone that's on the beach.
Pretty surreal. I mean, it was crazy. I didn't even expect to make the first heat, so I was pretty stoked to keep going and then somehow make the final and win it. But yeah, pretty stoked.
Sick play. It's so fun to get yourself a heat out snapper. Never done that before.
After the break, I get to catch up and have a chat to one of my heroes, Wendy Botha. Welcome back to Surfing Australia TV. Recently, I was lucky enough to get an early preview of the new movie, Girls Can't Surf, and it is one of my favourite documentaries of all time. Afterwards, I was lucky enough to get a catch up with 4-time world surfing champion and star of the show, Wendy Botha. Do you feel like it's important to, you know, share your story and have these things made aware to people? Obviously, I didn't know a lot of the stuff that went on back then, but I know it's really opened my eyes to everything.
Definitely. I mean, sometimes I wish I didn't say some of the things and there wasn't a close-up of my 55-year-old face, but I think it is important, and it was a story that needed to be told. I wish they'd told it 30 years earlier when I was younger, but it's the reaction I get from people that I went, yeah, that's probably, I'm glad I did it, even though, you know, I said some silly things or I was embarrassed about how, you know, whatever. But the reaction's been sensational. And from people that have seen the movie that don't surf at all. Yeah. Even I have girlfriends that don't surf and obviously know who I am and what I did, but still know nothing about surfing, and watched it and just went, that's one of the best documentaries I've seen. And we had no idea and whatever. So yeah, I'm glad the story's out there.
Between your generation and the generation now, what's the biggest change that you've seen?
Just the ability, I guess. That's what does my head in the most, is honestly, is how amazing the girls surf. The likes of Sierra Kirra.
Did you see her last movie?
Oh
my gosh. I sat there and I went, I'm going to need to retire in 5 years.
There's no difference between the young boys and the young girls. Well, that's mine. You know, that age group, there's hardly any difference, I reckon.
They're almost better than the 13-year-old boys now. I'm just like, that is so amazing. Cool. Like,
so it's going to be real interesting when their generation.
It's going to be scary. It's going to be cool. I'm going to be watching it like you were watching, like my generation going, yikes.
I think that you girls have bridged the gap between the men and the women so much. I just think the girls have so much more style and grace, and I just think you girls are way, way better than I ever imagined it would get. So it's awesome to watch.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
Always, it's lovely talking to you.
So nice to meet you now.
Yeah.
So that I've at least met you when I watch all your heats.
Exactly.
And watch you win. Good luck,
we'll see. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the OP Pro Surfing Championship.
It's the golden age of surfing.
When you heard about professional surfing contests, it was always the men that everybody talked about.
This is where the men are surfing, and this shitty hellhole is where they had the women.
In the early 1980s, girls that got into pro surfing, they had the same dreams.
You just wanted to become the best at what you did.
But they didn't have the permission of the surf culture.
I don't think they'll ever be as good as the men, and that's the same in any sport. I think they just need to look attractive, dress well.
No, they were all such dumbass chauvinistic pigs.
The very first contest we surfed in Hawaii,
the women's check was exactly 50% to the men's.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The 80s were really hard. If you were gay, you were diseased.
I hit it my whole career.
Got some flack that you girls need to lose weight or else the whole sport would fail.
we got a letter saying we're going to eliminate the women's event this year and the bikini contest is staying. That's where we had to take a stand.
It was like all of us girls, everybody that was in our generation was all of a sudden connecting.
That was a pinnacle point where we all started to realise we can do something now.
It sounds like a Wall Street story, really.
Suddenly, there are all these, like, 12-year-old girls ready to be out in that water.
And it was like, here we go.
We were saying to surfing, promote us.
We're not going to stand for less.
They're a force of nature. Without their participation fighting those fights, there may not be a women's tour.
You know, if you can't see it, you can't be it.
That's all for this episode of Surfing Australia TV, presented by Woolworths, feeding fresh talent. I'm Isabella Nichols, signing off.